Now, something else I need to go over here is something that was sent to me by Keith, because one thing we've been hearing a lot about over the past few years, and even still to this day, even though inventory on the US housing market has bounced back to what it was pre-pandemic, there is still this big narrative out there going around how there's a big housing shortage. They're talking anywhere between 4 to 7 million houses short still. And in Utah, the state gave a $2 million grant to a nonprofit company called the Utah Workforce Housing Advocacy in order to put out propaganda talking about how there's still a housing shortage in the state of Utah. And I'm going to prove to you that there is no housing shortage in the state of Utah towards the end of this. But first, let's go over what actually happened. The state government gave this nonprofit $2 million to go out there and say that we need to increase the housing supply by changing zoning laws, providing tax incentives, and using surplus public land for housing. And they're even promoting the idea that luxury housing actually helps affordability by increasing overall supply. So essentially, they will say anything to push their agenda. And a lot of people in Utah are really questioning this, like, well, shouldn't that $2 million have gone towards actually building more housing if this is such a problem, and actually gone towards fixing the problem, rather than just have this nonprofit put out all this propaganda telling everybody what needs to happen? You know what I mean? And you're always going to have the problem of NIMBYs, which stands for not in my backyard, because residents in Clinton, Utah, for example, have been fighting more development because of concerns about overcrowding, traffic, and housing density in the mix of housing, like too many condos or single family homes or townhomes clustered together. And I can tell you firsthand, as somebody who lives in an area that is overbuilt and overcrowded in Miami Beach, Florida, it is a real problem, guys. Traffic is the #1 quality of life issue there that really brings me down. I absolutely hate it, and I have to revolve my entire life in Miami around the traffic pattern to ensure that I don't get stuck in it when I go out and shoot these videos. So what's going on here is they are pushing a developer-driven agenda in order for developers to get higher tax credits, higher incentives in order to build more, and basically get subsidized for their business and help them become more successful. And it's more about selling housing rather than educating people. And remember, I told you I was going to prove to you that supply is not actually an issue in Utah. Let's refer to the ReVenture app here and take a look at the for sale inventory in the entire state of Utah. Well, what do you notice? As of right now, there are over 14,000 homes for sale in the state of Utah, which is the highest amount, at least going back to 2017. Even pre-pandemic in 2017, the normal amount of homes for sale in Utah was around 11 or 12,000 homes. Right now, there are over 14,000 homes for sale. And they have the nerve to go out there and tell everybody that there is a housing shortage and that they need to build more, even though there are more homes for sale today than there have been at least in the last 10 years. And at the same time in Utah, the home sales have cratered. You can see that home sales are literally down to 2012 levels right now, which was kind of like when the dust was settling after the GFC and people really were just beginning to start buying again. That's where home sale levels are right now in Utah for the past 3 years in a row. And it's not really getting any better. But that is because of home prices, not because they need to build more. And this home value chart shows you exactly what I mean. Prices in Utah peaked at about $544,000 in about 2022. And right now, today, they're still sitting at about $529,000, slightly lower. So what is the issue? It is home prices. There's plenty of supply, but the prices of these homes are just too high. And then they want these developers to build more luxury housing because it contributes to overall supply. Now, I'm not going to say that real estate is not a game of supply and demand, because it certainly is. And if there was significantly more supply, then that might put more downward pressure on prices, which is the idea behind building more. But you can build as much as you want, but if the prices are not what people can afford, well, ultimately, that's the biggest problem that people face, is affordability. And we know that most developers these days are not building homes that are affordable. They've started to. Over the past year, they've really been shifting their strategies and building smaller homes at more affordable price points to meet buyers where they're at financially. But that's only a new trend that's just begun. So Utah is running into a similar problem that a lot of other places across the country are, where there is no supply shortage. There is just a shortage of affordable homes for sale. A lot of these homes that are sitting on the market are priced at completely clueless levels, far above and beyond what people actually can afford to pay. And home sellers are only just now starting to realize that, going back to the beginning of this video, with days on market starting to exceed pre-pandemic levels throughout most of the country right now. As that continues to happen, more sellers are going to have to get with the program and lower the price of these homes in order to actually get them sold. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.